been laughing very hard backstage because I see Gideon so excited. I lost sleep last night. All right. Like you got a lot on your shoulders, Ryan. People are saying they're calling you the GOAT. I don't know. They're probably not calling me the GOAT. They're calling you the GOAT. So I'm like, all right,
Maybe you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're looking for, but at the end of the day, we're excited to be here. Welcome to a workshop that we put in here through Cognism. We bring in special guests like Ryan to elevate your sales game and also answer your questions. So as everybody is coming in, we'll take a couple seconds. Let us know. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you, Josh. But let us know where you're tuning in from, and let us know what's going on in your world. Maybe you have something exciting you want to share. That's cool. Or maybe you were at a workshop. We did something with Mattia. We did something with Will last time. Maybe you took that advice and you've gotten some results. That'd be incredible. But put it in the chat where you're tuning in from. We always love to see where people are at. And if it's your first time here, let us know. And if you've been here before, that's incredible. So what we're going to be talking about today is video selling, not just video prospecting, because that's been talked about a lot. I've been doing video prospecting since 2016, so it's been around. How long have you been doing video prospecting, Ryan?
Ooh, since I started as a BDR, so maybe like 6 years.
Yeah. So it's been around, but what we're talking about today is video selling, which I don't think gets enough love. It's not talked about enough, and this is what's going to help you close deals. So I don't know, that might be important. So what we're going to do here across the board, Jeff, you're right. There definitely needs more attention. We're going to see everybody here. We'll show some love. We got Paris in the house. We got Dublin in the house. I definitely need to go out there. Indianapolis, shout out to Indianapolis, really close to me here in Atlanta. Paris is actually coming in very strong. Shout out to y'all. We got Toronto in the house, North Carolina. We got the UK. We got, you've been seeing, I think that you've been saying, I'm definitely saying that wrong. I'm definitely getting roasted in the background. We got Denver. We got Chattanooga, San Francisco. We got, I didn't know Columbia, Missouri. Oh yeah, Columbia, Missouri. I've been there. Yeah, Columbia, Missouri. We got Halifax. We got a lot of people holding it down today. We're international. Shout out to everybody taking their time. We got Zimbabwe in the house. We got Ukraine. Okay,
Uzbekistan.
Cool. Thank you for breaking that down. I was struggling. Philippines. I've been there before.
Tanzania. Let's go.
I have a crazy Philippines story, but maybe we'll get to that later. But all right, y'all, this is exciting. We have a ton of people in here. Now, what Ryan's going to do is he's going to share his screen, and we're going to dive into what we're going to be doing here today. But before we do dive into that real quick, question for you all. When it comes to video, it's like makeup places. These are real places. You can go look them up. When it comes to video selling, what would you put yourself? 1 to 5. How would you rate yourself? 1 to 5, how would you rate yourself in video selling?
It's 1s, 2s, 0s.
1 being the worst. Yeah, 1 being the worst. 5 being you're impeccable. You're untouchable.
-2. Oh wow. There's someone. Oh, I thought someone said 4. I was excited.
Okay, so Ryan, you got to help him out today. We got a lot of 0s, 1s, and 2s. So here's my goal, y'all. Here's the goal of every single time we do these. The goal is for you to get 1 point better. Just 1 point. That's it. So if you're a 3, we want you to get a 4. You're a 0.5, you become a 1.5, right? You're a 0, we want you to get at least a 1. Well, that's our hope, right? And so that's what we're going to be doing here today is diving into video selling. I know we've been talking about a lot, but let's get into it. Ryan, let's share a scheme and let's start talking about it.
Yeah, I think just 1 point to nail in before we even do that is you practice email writing. You practice cold calling, you iterate, you learn what works, you learn what doesn't. Most people send a couple of videos and never seek feedback, learn what they did right, learn what they did wrong, and actually just practice it as a skill to get better. My first videos, I'm sure, much like you, Morgan, they were probably awful. They probably didn't get the response that you wanted, right?
No, not at all. It was like, what the heck is going on?
So today, like even just to start off with you guys, like what I really want to, focus in on and share is like why video in today's day and age, specifically why video. So when you look at email, and of course I'm going to ask the question, can everybody see my screen? Can you see my screen, Morgan?
I can see your screen. We're good.
Okay, perfect. Then we're good to go. Why video? Well, first of all, email alone, just video versus email. Video increases open rates by 16% and increases reply rates by 26%. And those are good. When you zoom out a little bit, this is taken straight from SalesLoft's data. The only real study done on this subject. Doesn't look that large. However, and these are some great reply rates. However, this is large enough in today's attention economy to really make a difference while you're doing prospecting. And this is just for the initial part of the sale. Then we take it down to phone. So video versus phone, the average cold call success rate is 2%. I don't even know how accurate that is. Average video success rate is between 4 and 12%. Now, the better and better you can get at this and the more effective you can be, you'll probably get towards that 12%. I'll tell you from my stats, I had a 75% watch rate on my videos, and I had around a 10 to 15% reply rate or meetings booked on video. So video in and of itself can be extremely powerful. If you've maxed out your email connections, if you maxed out your phone call, this is just another medium. So when we think about this, I want to talk to you a little about what makes actually an effective video selling strategy. It says there's good and there's bad. What makes it effective? It's relevant to the buyer. Part of what I teach and what I do is figuring out the symptoms of the problems you solve for and how you can loop that in so that you're relevant. So it's not just, hey, it was on your site. It's relevant to the buyer. It's concise and it keeps their attention. No 3-minute videos where you're kind of wandering all over the place. Get a script, practice it, polish it, know what you're saying.
Ryan, wait, hold on 1 second. We're hearing static on your end right now. So if you want to we can quickly clean that real quick. And before we do get back into it, I think there's something important that we're talking about here, which is around this reply rate, or also and just in general the 70%, 5% open rate. So we can effectively ask a quick question, and then Ryan, we'll get you back to talking to make sure the static's good, everybody's fine. So my question back to you all real quick is, okay, you just saw the reply rate and you're probably like, yo, what the heck? So what's the reason that you're not doing video? Is it because you don't know what to say, you're afraid, or you're like, hey, I sent one video, no one replied? I'm actually curious, right? What exactly does that mean? And Gideon, what we're talking about here is a video attachment to the email. There's a ton of different video providers out there that you can look at. I mean, there's Bomb, there's Wistia, there's Vidyard, right? There's Vouch. There's a lot of different video providers. I could go through an entire list, but that's what we're talking about here. Not like, hey, we're getting on a Zoom call or something like that. So we just want to see that there. But Ryan, we'll get back to you. Just want to make sure the audio is good on your side. We can't hear you now. Now we just can't hear you.
All right, have it now.
Still staticky.
Oh, Lord.
Well, as he fixes that, let's address a couple of things here. So one thing that I'll have to, we'll get it, y'all. Technical differences happen, so it's all good. But we will keep it rolling, Scholar. We got you. So I would just say, hey, look, the mic helps, guys. The mic helps. But yeah, don't know what to say. That's what we're going to talk about today. I would encourage you all to think about this, and then we'll hand it back over to Ryan. So when you're thinking about what not wanting to say, think about what you're already saying on your phone calls. Think about what you're already saying in your emails as well, just similar to what Ryan was saying earlier. That's a really good place to go, because the only difference in your video is that they just see you. That's about it, right? So that's the key as well. And Brianna, I'll tell you this as well. The reason that most people feel or they seem like they are looking ridiculous on the camera is because they look at themselves when they create a video. So when you do a video, you should be looking at the actual camera. Right now, my camera's right here, so I'm looking at it. So I can't see myself when I'm talking. But if you are looking at yourself while you're talking, then you're going to feel subconscious, which leads to less people making videos. And there's a ton of studies on that, just as a helpful tip. But Ryan, are we good now?
I don't know.
We're good. We're better now. All right. So okay. Let's get you back in the mix, because the people want it. So we'll get you back.
Yes. Listen, just to Josh's comment, Joshua, video prospecting can be time consuming if you don't know how to do it. The same way that writing a relevant email can be time consuming. So this is one of the big things I talk about, is finding those outward symptoms of the problems that you solve and being able to utilize that. For example, should I just pull up the one I wrote for Cognism if they were going to prospect me?
Yeah, let's show an example here.
Let's do it. All right.
And so, on a lot of these times, everybody's like, "Oh, let's see an example. Let's see an example." So, y'all are gonna see one here live, right? In terms of what to say. So, this is answering a couple questions here already.
Yeah. Look. Hey, Ryan, I noticed you've been expanding into EMEA after hiring Beer and a few others. Typically, when that's the case, your US data provider is not as strong on UK numbers, which can affect quota attainment and ramp time for someone like Beer. Because we are UK founded, that's not the case with Cognism. Curious if you'd be open to seeing how much of your new TAM exists on our database and how our platinum certified sell numbers can improve connect rates so you can hit target more effectively. I wrote this morning in about 5 seconds. So I noticed that this employee was hired on the team. I noticed there's a couple more UK employees there. One of the things that Cognism does really effectively is they have great numbers in EMEA. So me as a sales leader, if I'm expanding into that market, I need good quality data, good quality numbers. So if I know that that's the way we solve for it, I can use that relevance and personalization, and I write it the same way I would write an email. The best thing here is you could have like an 80 score on Lavender and still make a killer video with it because you're able to fit a little bit more in.
I love that. And so let's get back to what you were talking about, Ryan, before we did cut off. You were about to dive into emails, why video's better. You were talking about calls, why video's better. So let's go back there and dive into more of that pieces. And also, as well as Ryan starts sharing his screen again, if you have any further questions, toss them into the text Q&A. I might miss them as you're dropping in the chat. I'm seeing them now, but we might miss them. So I just want to alert everybody.
So we'll go for the second. It's concise and it keeps attention. Pretty straightforward. Keep it under a minute if you're going to go cold outbound on video. Once you're in the buy cycle with someone, you can go a little bit more. And I have an example of a post-multiple disco video strategy that I've ran. The third and most important point is it utilizes visualization to its advantage. Think about your phone. What's the best part of the phone? They can hear you. They can connect with you. You're able to converse back and forth, where on an email, you can't really do so until they reply. On email, you can write out your full thought without getting cut off like a cold call. Well, in video, you have visualization. You can show the relevancy point you pulled up. I would pull up Beer's profile. I'd pull up the couple UK hires that came into my company. And then I might even show some visualization for how my product would uniquely address it. Much the opposite. What makes an ineffective strategy? It's irrelevant and it's seller focused or company focused. It's drawn out, hard to watch, or boring, and it repeats the strengths of the other prospecting mediums without actually capitalizing on its own. So I'll ask you guys here, like, when you think about video prospecting or video selling in general, how much of you utilize some sort of visualization in your approach beyond just putting yourself on camera?
That's a good question. And then let's answer this by Chris, and because this gets asked a lot. Does it work with C-levels? Now I want to give you all like an example. How many C-levels do we have in here, by the way? I'm just curious. Like, put a 1 if you are a C-level. Probably not as many, but like maybe we don't have any at all. But I'll tell y'all this though. So I recently was at the CMO Summit last week, and I talked to executives on a consistent basis, right? And I just want y'all to just think about something. So the data says, on average, maybe Jay Miller can attest to this, but this is what the data says. So a C-level executive gets like 100 to 200 sales emails like a day, right? They probably get 200 LinkedIn messages a day that say the same thing. We're the leading provider. We're amazing. We have a magical solution. We're in the left quadrant of like, all these different things, right? And what I'll tell you is that the amount of people that get videos in their inbox is pretty low, like a personalized one. Now, you could consider all these deepfakes that are happening right now, like whatever, but I'm saying a personalized one. Most leaders tell me they get 3 to 5 a year. So when someone says does it work with C-levels, it actually works really well. And a lot of people said different buyer personas. I trained a team and they go after CISOs and CIOs, and it worked for them when they use videos because most people aren't doing it. You have to think about most people are afraid to call a CISO or CIO or CMO. That means that they're definitely afraid to do a video. The number one fear in the world is public speaking above death. And so video is a form of public speaking. So when you really think about it that way, like this actually works out a ton with C-levels because it shows your confidence. It shows that you're competent. It shows that you know what you're talking about. And that's the reason why you're going to get attention there. So I just want y'all to just think about the data and think about what other people are not doing. And I'm just telling you out of the hundreds and thousands of things that I saw, that's the thing that I would say though as well. So that's just the data I've collected like over time and all the trainings that I've done. But Ryan, you can speak to this as well.
It works phenomenally well. Part of it is having to figure out a way to stand out, which if there's one pro tip we're going to give away today that I've been using for a while is actually something that I got from understanding YouTube, is that some people don't want to click on your face. Think about it. You send a video, it's you going like this. You've never met that person. They've never seen you. Or you hold up a whiteboard like Vidyard, still saying 8 years later, high prospect name, doesn't stand out. And once, I always say this, it's like a pattern interrupt is a pattern interrupt until it becomes a pattern. So this is something that I've been doing and teaching for a bit now, and the results are so much higher. Go grab a picture of your prospect. Use visualization to your advantage. So when you think about this, I grabbed Alina's picture. I grabbed a Google slide deck, and I use this as the thumbnail or cover image for my video. I'm able to write a message. I'm able to put the different people in their organization on that cover image as well. And now when they go to click on it, we've seen the reply rates shoot up drastically because they know no matter what, this video is for me.
I absolutely love that, and I want to add to that as well. So I've been doing a ton of studying on YouTube, and the number one reason that you'll get let's say for example, a conversion or someone to watch something is because of the click-through rate. And the click-through rate, the main reason that people click is due to the thumbnail. And so having that enticing thumbnail and doing that is absolutely important. And so to Ryan's point, you want to be able to say like, hey, like here's a picture of you, right? Not just me. And I think across the board, like I have seen, different examples of people doing the whiteboard for that nature, but I would say that was hot like 5-6 years ago, right? And so using what Ryan just said is absolutely important as well. So we have a couple more questions that are flowing in here. I want to go to this one because a couple people have asked us already. Curious how you word the email with your video. How do we get them to actually click? So I think we have two different examples on like how to go about this here. I have one that I broke down a couple times, and I'll speak to mine here in a minute. But Ryan, how are you going about this?
Curious how you word the email with your video. So I try not to give away a ton. I try to direct them back to the video. I keep it very minimal. And I'm usually either not putting text because I put it in the cover image and I get my quick message there. But I'm asking a question, thoughts on the problem I discussed in the video above. You don't want to give them all the details of what the video is going to be in the email itself. And to be honest, think about like who and what to send. Do I send these videos to everybody? No. Much like prospecting in general has shifted towards this intent kind of focus, I only send videos to people who open my email more than twice. So I'm not sending at everything. And guess what? I don't do the any thoughts bump anymore in an email. I reply to an email that they might have opened a couple times with that video in there. The same thing with LinkedIn. If I'm connected with you on LinkedIn, that's where you're going to get some of the best results as far as sending video. So it's less about what you say in the email, more about what you say in the video. but to direct them back to the video, this is where you're going to want to put like, hey, curious, does what I discussed in the video resonate? It's all trying to gain that curiosity to go back to the video.
Absolutely love that. I'm looking right now for an example for you all on this, and Ryan's absolutely right. Where most people falter when they're doing their videos, for example, they'll just say, hey, they'll ask for the time already. They'll be like, here's a video. Do you have 30 minutes of chat? Well, you're losing the the curiosity aspect of them actually watching the video. So you want to make sure that you always point to it in some way. So they're like, oh, okay, this is for me, and whatever that may be. Right. And that's like the ultimate example that you want. You want them to be like, oh, this video is for me. This makes a lot of sense. Like, let me click on this, whatever it may be. That's one thing that I've seen to be, absolutely important across the board as well. And the key is that when you are doing these type of videos, I'm trying to find an example, but like I'll give you of what I do. I do like I notice something on your profile or your website. I give a quick snippet on like what it's about, so like a precursor, and then I say it's less than however many minutes. So it might be like it's less than 1 minute, or it might be like it's less than 2 minutes, right? I promise. And then my last thing that I say is, because some people were weird about this, and we did this for like security and it helped out a lot. We'd be like, hey, I know that this video might be odd. However, would you be opposed to watching this video to see what I have to say? So we would directly call out that the video was odd in the email, but we said, hey, I'm just trying to do something different, right? Which people can appreciate because they're getting the same boring or generic emails all the time. So we would call it out and say, hey, I know this video might be odd. However, would you be opposed to clicking this video to see what we have to say? I was trying to do something different. And people tend to appreciate that as well in the text. So that's something you can do as a part of it.
There's another thing I gotta share because I think it kind of folds into that. So if any of you are here because you saw Ty's video, and if you don't know him, Tyler Washington at Falcon, go check him out. Love what he's doing. He's been an awesome video student, and in reality, he's taking it to another level, and he's figuring out his own tips. So one of the things that he's shared with me is that he will go and actually get permission before he sends a video. So he'll be like, hey, curious if you'd be all right with me sending you a video that discusses how we address ABC problems, and gets their permission before. And I've tried it out a couple times, and it works. Like, people are like, if it's maybe not going to work for every industry, but if you're close enough to talking with that person, you say, hey, do you mind if I send you a quick video about how we address that problem or how you could solve that problem? And they say yes, they're most likely to actually watch it. His name is Tyler Washington, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop that here in the chat so everybody can check it out. So let's talk about this as well. Subject lines. What are you thinking here, Ryan? I'll drop mine in here that I really like.
We'll let you take that one.
Yeah. No, I love me some subject lines. So I'm gonna drop these in here for you all. So as you see, I'm just giving you real-time examples that I'm pulling from my inbox right now. So this first name right here, that's like their first name. You put your first name, a quick video for you. Why? So the reason that this works is because people like things quick. You think about Uber, anything like DoorDash, all that stuff. People want things quick. So if you say quick video for you, there's a higher likelihood they have to open the email. And then this is a personal favorite of the subject line. I've shared this a lot, so maybe it's going to be overused at this point, but who knows? But it's just like first name and then your company name. So I'm going to put this like your company name. So let's say I worked with Cognism, I put that there. And then I would just do like personalized video here in the chat so y'all can see it. Why isn't it let me do this? Hold on. Make sure I'm spelling personalized right. All right, there we go. All right, that would be another one that I would do as well. So both of these I've used and it's been massively successful. Here's the thing though. You could use whatever you want. Like, I would also recommend like whatever you said in the video that was unique, take the time to put it in there. Like if you talked about like Star Wars, that in the subject line, right? If you talked about like Marvel, put it in the subject line. If you talked about something in there, a LinkedIn profile, put it in the subject line. I'm just giving you some ones that you could use right off the rip. And then also as well, some people are asking, I just linked Tyler's profile in there if you want to go check out what he's doing as well, Ty, so you can go check that out. But y'all are asking about subject lines. That's what I would do. Typically, I like to keep them pretty concise, as you see, but that's the way that I roll there. But, if anyone obviously has any success or any other ones that they want to add in the chat, you can as well. But Ryan, don't know if you have anyone you want to add.
No, I like those. I don't get too deep down the subject line rabbit hole. One reason is why a lot of the videos I'm sending via email are replies to initial emails.
Perfect. Let's go into one more question, then we can hop back into what you're talking about here. So one thing as well, this one has a lot of upvotes here, and I have my opinions on this, and I've actually talked to a lot of people in security. I've tested it, etc. But good question. Wouldn't video get caught in firewalls and spam blockers? So how do you feel about that one, Ryan?
Oh my, was I sharing?
No, you got it. You're sharing it right now.
Wait. Oh, that's odd. Okay. Wouldn't video get caught up in spam blockers, firewalls? Well, yeah, if it's the first thing you're sending, and if you're sending it to everybody, you use the people that engage. It's kind of back to the point of like, if they've opened your email several times, it's likely they're not in a spam filter, so you can send it as a reply. Don't send it as the first one. And B, use LinkedIn. If you can get in touch with your buyers or connect with them on LinkedIn, that is a very good method or medium to send them on. The reply rates usually are the highest for video when I'm connected on LinkedIn. But yeah, when it comes to spam filters, you'd be shocked at the amount of first email video approaches have made it into my inbox. And I'd say our security is pretty good. So something you got to test out. Just don't send video to any and everyone, because if you start sending video to people that emails bounce, it's not going to go good on your deliverability. But that's a whole other subject.
Echo what Ryan's saying. I want to add too much to it. If you're already in conversations with people, you're fine, especially in the video selling stage. It's going to be going pretty well. So it's not something that you have to worry about too much, but it is something that you can just be mindful of across the board. So let's answer this with Josh, and then let's hop back into more of your content here, Ryan. So which platforms is more preferable for video, LinkedIn or email? I mean, I'm going to say LinkedIn because it's just the easiest, but
Yep.
you might have a different perspective.
LinkedIn, email video is not dead though. It's just not. It's out there. It can be very effective. You just got to pick and choose who you're going to send the video to. And the way that I prioritize that is, do they have a outward symptom or problem hypothesis? Like, can I create a problem hypothesis for this individual? If I know someone is hiring 5 BDRs, there's something associated with that. They're trying to grow revenue, meet higher targets. They're ramping these folks, so they need that to be as short as possible. They want those reps to be as profitable as possible. So I'm looking at hiring signals sometimes as these things that could be potential triggers. In your company, there's likely similar things. So one of the things I do as an exercise is really symptom mapping. Understand what the symptoms of the problems that you guys potentially solve for are, and then loop that back into curating and creating messaging that can quickly link in. So for LinkedIn, you can reference something in there. For email, once again, just stick to the people that have the most visibility, are the most engaged, and are actually responding in some way, because the likelihood of them actually looking and watching that video is a lot higher.
Awesome. Well, before we get back into the content, we're answering a ton of questions. Please put your questions into the Q&A. It's the easiest way for me to get it. If it's in the chat, I might miss it. So I'm just letting you know, put it in the text Q&A if you want to get it answered. Paul, you're asking some great questions, so we appreciate you so far. And we're right here at the halfway mark. So if you're finding this to be insightful or helpful so far, let us know in the chat. If you are moving from a 0 to a 1 or 1 to 2, let us know. We're trying to give you as much information here as possible. So let us know if this has been helpful so far, and let us know in the chat. But Ryan, I know some people probably want to see some actual video examples, maybe some more frameworks. So let's dive back into the content you were sharing.
Let's do it. All right. Can you see?
Yep.
All right. So this is one of the just like out of the box, take this, use this as a script. But basically, this is a relevance-based cold video that I run a lot. Hey, buyer name, I noticed this symptom, relevance point. Typically, when that's the case, this is also a problem. We can help address this with whatever your solution is, And would you be open to learning how you could solve problem without negative impact? Screenshot that, write it down, take it for what you want. I'm actually going to show you an example of someone that took this, made it into video, and hopefully the audio will share as well. So Morgan, you're going to have to keep me honest here if they can see the video.
We can see the video.
One thing that you want to see. Oh, 28 views. That's good. It's a good sign. So first thing you'll notice, he's got the cover image. He's got the guy's face, not his. Chewy and erudite. He actually has a little bit of what that video probably is going to consist of, which is lacking employee insights. Let's click it, and you can let me know if the audio is coming through.
No audio is coming through.
Did it work?
No audio.
Oh no! All right. Well,
we can if you turn.
I'll drop it into the chat, and you guys can view it that way.
So with the video, as people are going in and checking that piece out, what are some key elements in that video that you would call out here?
So some key elements. I wish I could show you the actual video. The key elements here is that he comes up with the relevancy point. It's an HR director, recently came on. He then presents a problem that he knows that typically those individuals have, which is that they cannot, like they're totally reliant on these like employee surveys to impact like certain results within the people organization. And then he frames how erudite can basically how those I'm forgetting his pitch. That's no good. But he brings the problem, he presents, he talks about the relevance, talks about the problem and how that may impact them, then brings a solution in a unique way without a negative impact. So I highly suggest looking at that one when you get a chance. And then I'll go ahead and I'll share one more at one point of my video selling that I did later in a sales cycle, now that we can't share the audio apparently.
So I got it on my end, so give me like 2 seconds here. First of all, let me check the audio before I share. Can people hear this?
Yeah.
Can anybody hear what I was doing right there? All right, cool. All right, someone said yes. All right, cool. No, yes, no. What? Hold on. We're gonna make this work. Technical difficulties. This is what you have to go through. Everybody chill. We're gonna make this work. All right, so hold on. Now, can you hear this? No, very interesting. All right, I'm literally playing it through the thing. All right, y'all. So I don't know what that is. I'm playing it directly through, but I guess since we can't hear it, it's like no. I literally clicked it and I have it through my system right now. It's not working. So all right, y'all. Here we go. Check it out here. And see if we can do. We're working in the background to actually get this rolling, just in case. But what we're gonna do as we're getting it here. We're going to go through some other questions as well. So Ryan, you mentioned this earlier. Would it be best to have an established approach to personas and target? Basically, okay, so this is the question. Would it be best to have an established approach of personas and target? So essentially, how would you go about that? And then how would you essentially like make sure that you're targeting the right people?
I guess I'd ask Paul, who do you prospect to? Who do you sell to? We can get him to respond quick enough. Short answer, C-level, and was thinking more of an ABM. No, this is a great approach for that. If you want to take a very curated, like enterprise selling only approach to this, it's a much better way to go. As well as VP and director. What C-level? What do you sell, Paul?
Okay, we're gonna break down Paul's question. Then we got the video ready. So let's
all reporting solutions. Okay, so yes, I would go very established approach of personas and target, and then what I would do is really try to understand like what do I solve for each of those personas. Is it a technical problem or a business problem? So when you're thinking about that in that way, it's like you have your user buyer who's going to use the product, and it may save them time or it may relieve some sort of, light pain, but there's probably a larger business reason as to why the business would want that. So when you're going to the C-suite or executives or CRO, whoever it may be, think about this. The deal, the buying committees have expanded greatly. You need to know why a CFO is going to sign. So when you map out, who you're going all the way back down from prospecting, you need to understand how this actually translates all the way through the sales cycle. So when you map out your prospecting, you're going to talk to the C-suite about the business problem and tell them why the technical problem or the user pain is actually affecting and causing that negative impact. When you're going after the opposite, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to talk about that technical problem and then allude to the fact it's actually a bigger problem for the business. So I map out what those problems are, and then I pick what those triggers are for those different personas. So I may have a template sort of idea of what I will say to all VPs and directors, and then I have a template idea of what I'm going to say to all CROs, and a template of what I'm going to say to anybody in like maybe the lower level management, because the problem will affect them differently, and they're going to care about different things.
Love that. All right, y'all. So I told y'all to bear with me. We got to upload it in the background.
Hey, David. I was just on your LinkedIn page and I noticed that you joined Chewy as the Global Talent Development Officer, and I wanted to bring something to your attention. With over 10 years of organizational development experience, you have a lot of history building out processes that ensure that leadership at your company truly understands how their employees are feeling. In the last 2 months at Chewy, you've probably spent a good amount of time trying to understand how your employees feel regarding several topics. But Glassdoor reviews like this can only go so far in helping you understand the key areas to focus on in your first 90 days. You've most likely used surveys in the past to measure these sentiments, but Gallup reports that these surveys are unreliable, get lower than desired participation rates, and they put an administrative burden on your HR teams and managers. I wanted to share a way that Erudite could help you make better decisions that are based on more inclusive employee engagement data. By proactively surfacing insights in your staff's communication without any effort from the employees before they even become a problem. This way, you can truly see how your employees are feeling towards your learning and development initiatives, along with other measures like burnout and engagement, all in real time. Let me know if this is interesting and if it's worth a chat. Take care.
Let's talk about it.
All right, y'all. So the video worked. All right, I told y'all we get it to work. Some of y'all are like, "Oh, I told y'all we get it to work." So, first and foremost, let's talk to the audience. What did y'all think of that video, 1 to 5? Like, what did you think? We'd love to hear y'all's perspective and across the board. But talk to us, Ryan, on that breakdown and then what your take was.
3, 4, 2, perfect. I'm all right with that. I like the comment that Joshua made. Lots of context on the screen during his presentation kind of defeats the purpose of a 1-minute video, right? They would have to pause to read the slides. Could. The point is we're using visualization to our advantage. Yeah, they could grab those little screenshots and zoom in, but ultimately what you're trying to communicate on video is that you have something. You're trying to build intrigue. You're trying to communicate something of interest that they may affect. I want them to pay attention to the voice, what he's saying, but the visualization cues, you could do a lot less of them and have a better result. Ultimately, think about this. Think if there's any moment on your demos that is that aha moment in your product, the one that if your buyers just see, they're going to be like, wow, that I didn't know anything could do that, or that's really cool. Those are the visual cues and moments that I tell people to use in their video approach. The reason being is that you can share and show that visualization of exactly how you solve that problem. This was a little bit more slide deck and like data point focused. So to each their own. I would say just pick the things that are more easy to digest and understand. the relevancy point is the thing that I like to kick in. I mean, I posted a video a while back with Tony, where I had Morgan Ingram's face pop into the slide because I wanted to have that relevance so he understood, that I knew what I was, getting into when I was reaching out to him. So it doesn't need to be slide decks.
Yeah, I would say, everyone's gonna have different ratings across the board. I was just curious on what you all thought. I think the biggest piece is having the visuals, especially it shows that you've done your research. Because one could say, hey, I did this thing, I did this research, that's great. But now that you're adding in that other piece, that allows you then to see, oh, okay, like I saw the research that they did there. That's interesting, right? That allows me to then dive a little bit deeper. But I appreciate y'all adding y'all's perspective in there. Whether you thought it was a 2, a 3, or 4, that just gives you an example of how you can do your videos. And here's the key. You saw how someone did it. Now you could either take that and use it yourself. You can, maybe change it up. Those are all the things across the board that you can start doing. And this leads into a question that I see here, because I think this is important, because now people are like, all right, Ryan, like, cool. Like, I know how to structure my videos. I know how long they need to be. You've given us a framework on how to go about it. We've talked about different ways of doing it, whether it's a prospecting or your video selling. How much time does one dedicate to this video approach to film and edit per week for best results?
In the beginning, it may take 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to film a video. Eventually, it takes 5 or less. But at the end of the day, if you go look at your connect rates on email and phone, people always love to be like, well, how can I scale it? Don't scale it until you nail it.
That's a bar.
It's going to be a video post coming soon. I'm exposing my LinkedIn content coming up. But don't scale it until you nail it. Like, take the time, the amount of cadences we throw people into and research we do and all these different scripts we're building out, we put time into our prospecting. So I always get a little like, I'll push back a little bit on that. Take the time and do it right, and you're going to get a lot more wins. I don't want to send 500 emails and get 5 replies, but I would love to send 10 videos and book 5 meetings. That to me is well worth it. However, building a process that works for your level of production value is absolutely key here. So I teach like 4 different levels of production value. One is just the cover image and a relevance-based script. The next is where you can put a slide deck behind you or their website behind you and get to the same approach. No editing needed. You can fire it off in a couple minutes as long as you know what you're about to say. The third, you can upload it into an editing software and you can add little creative bits here and there, use a green screen, all that fun stuff. And fourth, yeah, you can add visual and audio effects and all that, but I would save that for the C-suite when you're going for an absolute snipe on a client that you need to get with this video. So it all depends on what you want to put into it, but adding little bits of creativity, relevance along the way is going to get you a better result. Everybody's like, well, how do I just mass do this and not have to record a new one for each person? Don't opt for that just yet. Nail the video process first, and then you can be taught how to add the person's name in, the relevancy point, and then have a canned video each time. Which, if you go look at Ty's video, the first 10 seconds are personalized. The rest of it is he's wearing a different outfit. But most people didn't notice that in the video. So there's levels to this. Start with level 1.
There's level. What? Meek Mill now? There's levels to this. All right, y'all. So we got about like 15 minutes left. If you got your questions, please throw them in the Q&A. Joshua, I see your question. But everyone else so far, if we've answered your question, let us know if that answer was helpful. And then Marvin, let us know if we helped answer your question as well. So let's stop sharing this one. I'm going to bring this one up here because I think a lot of people are going to start having this question here. My videos get lots of views. Great. But I've never gotten a response. I've sent about 40 videos. What are usually the problems you see for getting replies? Okay,
first off, how many emails have you sent? How many phone calls have you made? To be honest, 40 is not enough repetitions to make a full diagnosis.
What's a minimum for you? What's your minimum?
I mean, I have people typically sending, once they get a process down, 5 a day. Or if you want to do like 10 or 15 a week. You don't need to go hard, but add that up over a couple of years of prospecting. You'll send a lot of videos. I've sent thousands and thousands of videos, and a lot of my earlier ones did not work at all. And now my videos hit when I send them. And I do everything I can to make sure they hit when I send them. But pick up the phone and call the person. Like, it's not about just getting the reply. And I say this about all prospecting touches. The point of a cold call is not actually to book a meeting. The point of an email is not actually to book a meeting. Video, the same thing. It's to gain or build curiosity and intrigue that you could provide some sort of value or help for them. Eventually, one of those things will convert to the meeting. So I'll send a video, but maybe they don't reply. I pick up the phone and I call them. I had to do that with the VP of Sales, Jameson at Gong. I did a crazy video publicly. He got a bunch of people telling him to watch it, and I realized he wasn't replying to my email or the video or my tags or anything like that. I picked up the phone, I called him. He goes, "So you're the person I've been hearing about all day," and that can be the easiest way to just convert it over the edge.
I want to give y'all a perspective. Every time I train someone on video, I tell them you need to do 100 before a conversation is had. You can't effectively you can't know something works or not until you do 100 do it 100 times. Calling, emailing, videoing, I don't really care what you're doing. Once you hit 100, then we can objectively look at it and see like what's going on. And to Ryan's point, I just if you do the math, this is like not incredibly like too taxing, because if you did 5 videos a day, right? That's 20 videos a week. That's like around 80, right? Videos a month. You do like probably 2 more weeks, probably 6 weeks. You do 100 videos. 6 weeks in the grand scheme of things in your sales career is like not that crazy. And it's only 5 videos a day. That probably takes you approximately 45 minutes, an hour to do. And you're probably making calls, and your connect rate, it might be good. It might be whatever it is. And you're sending out emails that, are hard to get conversions on across the board. And you're probably sending out 100, 200 like generic ones, and you're getting like 1 or 2 responses. So what I'm telling you is, video takes more effort. It takes more work. Sure. But if you're able to communicate better on your video selling or even prospecting, you'll be able to communicate better videos. You'll be able to create better videos on Zoom. You're going to communicate better. You're going to better call. So I just want y'all to put things in perspective, like bringing things down to day by day. Like doing 100 videos is like a standard. That's at that point, you'll be able to tell whether or not, okay, am I like good at this thing or not? But that's a tasking thing. Some people are like, this is going to take me a while. But like, that's how you're going to tell.
How many cold calls do you feel like you made before you had cold calling down? Think about that. It's weird when you because video seems like it's so much more until you start getting into it. But like, I would never make 100 cold calls and be like, cold calling doesn't work. No, none of us would have jobs if that was the case.
No. Yeah. It's just that's just part of the game. Like, and so I just want y'all to think about that. And here's the thing though. Again, think about how many people quit after 10 videos. A ton. So what if you didn't quit and you were able to stand out because you made better videos than everybody? You have to think about what everyone else is not doing. I'm just telling you right now, I've trained enough people that they get excited about video. They do 10 videos, whether prospecting or even selling in the sales cycle, which I think you should be using video in your sales cycle like every single second, in my opinion. But like, people don't do it. They stop after 10, they say it doesn't work, and they move on, and they go do the same thing that isn't working for them, and then they wonder why it's not working. I'm only speaking off of like training tens of thousands of reps. So Morgan, I'm just giving you the contewant. Yeah, go ahead.
Morgan, I'm gonna throw that video right in there. This is one I did way back, not perfect, but it is a post-discovery one. I want, just from like the idea, we talked about like video selling, not just video prospecting. And obviously a lot of people want to know about the prospecting side. If anybody knows what the Kyle Coleman 3x3 is, it's something I've been doing on interviews for years, but I guess it's thing now because he called it the 3x3. Use that as a video script. Hey, great to chat with you. Here are the 3 things that we covered as most important problems you're trying to solve for on our discovery call. Based on that, here's a couple next steps that I think could be valuable. 1, 2, 3, and you go through the same exact motion. The video that I'm sharing here was to a C-level leader at Qualtrics. The response was, "Damn, you're good at this. Totally researched. You got the meeting." But the reality is I had done discovery on multiple different people in this organization, and I needed that decision maker. So I had a bunch of intel. I knew what was going on in the organization. I knew the initiatives. I'm using a lot of their verbiage, their words, everything. And I put together this as a Hail Mary to get that final meeting with the person that I already kind of been introduced to, but I needed to get them up to speed of why we were going to meet in the first place.
Yep.
This can go for the same for proposal reviews. Instead of sending out a proposal and then it goes into the ether, do a walkthrough of all the main things that people usually have questions on: terms, pricing, scope. There's a million different types of ways you can use video. And I know we only talk about the beginning stages of it, but it's more powerful and probably more likely to get watched the deeper you go into the sales cycle.
So yeah, let's talk about that. You have, like, as we have 9 minutes left, any other information that you want to share, maybe some slides or for you, or anything else you want to talk about in terms of video selling that people may want to hear right now? You have anything on video selling, Ron? Any other thoughts or takes on it? I know you just went through, but any other thoughts or takes on it?
I thought you were asking the
No, I was asking you. No, I was asking you.
No thoughts on video selling. Yeah, so I think that the people that will actually get the most value and use out of it are account executives. And the people that use it the least are account executives. Account executives are not going to spend time doing mass prospecting. So I feel like if you can really nail this as a good disco follow-up, micro demo opportunity. Hey, I know you had some questions on this area. The product, just wanted to, give some feedback from our sales engineer that walked me through ABC. As your follow-up, creating more of a visual component to your selling is going to make you stand out. There's nobody that I'm getting, anyone puts me through a sales cycle, they're not using video throughout it, unless it's in the very beginning. So being able to share what you've already covered, what your next steps are, and areas of opportunity, all that, I think it's underutilized heavily.
It is. I always tell people the video proposal. I don't know, does anyone out there do video proposals? Like, put a 1 in the chat if you do, or 2 if you don't. You're like, Morgan, what the heck is a video proposal, bro? But I'll tell you this right now. Think about the time that you save when you do a video proposal. So there was an account that I was looking to get into. It's an enterprise account. If I told you the company, you all would know what it is. And we were looking to get in front of the decision maker. And it was the chief sales officer. I had everyone else bought in, enablement, director of sales development, managers, everyone's fired up, but the chief sales officer does not want to get on the phone, right? So what I did is I did a video proposal. Now your video proposal is typically around 5 to 8 minutes. And I just had my proposal. I walked it through, shouted out all the champions and my advocates, and I sent it to my champion to vet, and then they would send it to the end decision maker, right? And so guess what? Think about the time saving of this person, right? They watched a 6-minute proposal, right? Versus hopping on a 30-minute call with me. And so we just saved everyone time. They were excited, and it moved forward, and I closed the deal. Now, to answer your question, at this point, I was selling sales training, so a little meta that I was using a video proposal to sell the sales training. However, at the end of the day, I've seen it be helpful for people who sell products, other services, etc. So I'm not saying, hey, I'm the only person that does this. I've coached and trained on this, and they found it to be successful. And here's the thing. Yeah, I obviously want the 30-minute call, but sometimes you may not get that. They may not you just may not get it. And so the proposal ultimately is for the people that you aren't speaking to. And so if you can't get in front of the executive, obviously I want to do that. Creating the video proposal is another angle you could take to potentially get the 30-minute meeting. Or guess what? You don't even need a 30-minute meeting. They just sign off and you close the deal, and you just saved yourself time because you want to meet with them anyway, so you can close the deal, right? So I'm just giving you all another perspective. You're not always going to be able to meet with the decision maker. They're going to try to block you. They may not be able to do that, right? But I'm doing this if I can't get there. And I could use that either as leverage to get the meeting or to close the deal and save myself time. So I just wanted to add that in there from the video proposal on the selling. I think it's probably one of the best things you can do across the board.
Think about this too. Like, you can talk about the ROI before you even go to the proposal part in the video. So this is one of the things when, when Paul's talking about expanded, buying committees, this is going to hit the CFO. This is going to hit executive leadership. So if all those people are being involved in this, you want to know clearly, hey, here's what we talked about. Here are the problems. Here's how we measured it. Here's the ROI. Here's the investment. And here are the terms. Let's talk about it. What discussions do you have? You're going to get 30 minutes with some sort of champion, some sort of decision maker, but you're not going to get 30 minutes with the entire team. And then you're going to have to rely on them to go play telephone on that contract. Take the time, put the video together, even if you get the 30 minutes. Be like, hey, great to chat with you about the proposal. I just want to send you a quick video in case anybody else wanted to hear what we covered during that call.
Best practice here, y'all. So we have 4 minutes left. We're going to do some rapid fire on some of these questions that you'll put in here. Ryan, if people want to learn more, DM you about some things that are going on. Like what's going on? Talk to them.
Yeah, hit me up on LinkedIn. I've been pushing on video for a while. I wanted to make it palatable for every level of rep that knows how to video it and can do, LinkedIn content, or just people that are like, hey, my emails our reply rates are so bad. I need to crack through. I need to break through the noise. I'm building it in every facet. You can be an amazing video editor and you can be afraid of the camera. And this is a way that you can start to learn how to video sell effectively. So if any of your teams are looking for that, hit me up on LinkedIn.
Perfect. All right, y'all. So as we wrap up here, let's ask this question. How should we look for a video? Would dressing up real nice give off almost a salesperson look to someone who doesn't want to be sold? Maybe a bit more relaxed look could be beneficial, like that guy was in the basement. All right, y'all. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all this is the easiest way for y'all to think about this. Mirror your audience. So, for example, I can get away with wearing this if I'm selling to like a marketer or like a salesperson in RevTech. However, if I was in the financial space, y'all, I would be suited up, pocket square, y'all. No hat, I'd be looking fresh. I'm telling you right now. But the thing is, I don't sell to that, so that's not what I'm looking to do. It would actually be weird if I had a suit on looking to do that, right? So the easiest way to answer this is mirror your audience. I don't know everyone's audience here, and that would be a ton of time that we don't have time for it. So just, your audience, you know what you need to wear, do that. But Ryan, what's your take?
Yeah, I was a head of biz dev at a fintech in the very high end of fintech. And there's one picture of me at a conference with all my tattoos out, and every one of my coworkers is in a suit and tie because I was dressed for the happy hour later, and I regret it. So I would echo that. Suit and tie would have been appropriate because it mirrors and matches the buyer a little bit better. But I don't care. Like if anybody sends me a video, you could be wearing a t-shirt and a silly goose hat or something like that, but it really doesn't matter to me. Think about it from your own perspective. Do what you feel comfortable with. If you're selling marketing software or to salespeople and you're dressed up with like a bow tie, it may look goofy in the same way that doing that to finance in a t-shirt would look. So up to you.
Cool. Yeah, just don't be crazy, y'all.
My silly goose hat.
It's actually hilarious on the silly goose hat. All right, so let's on the last question here. I think this is also important that we dive into this because people are probably wondering. So with no subject line and it being different format on LinkedIn, what's a good way to send someone a video without them being annoyed? Or so that they won't disregard it. So we just message them first to start a convo and then send. You talked about this a little bit already with saying like, hey, like I'm gonna send you a video, but any other takes on this before we hop?
Yeah, so I have a whole social selling guide on this, and video is part of the social selling. I slow roll it, engage with their content, trying to get them to engage with you first. Just coming straight out the gate with the video after a connect, it's usually not gonna breed the result you want. So take time, try to build a little bit of relationship, do the permission slap of being like, hey, out of curiosity, would you mind if I sent you a video? Or would you mind if I sent you a video about XYZ problem that law firms are facing? And if they don't reply to that, don't send them a video. Or send a 6-second voice note. Hey, great to connect. Looking forward to, looking at some of your content. You can send them a week later, take your time, send them an article. And then like a week after that, you may say, hey, do you mind if I send you a quick video on something that I thought would be relevant to you? Slow roll it. See how it works.
Yeah. So I would absolutely on you all's end, try these things out. Like, this is going to be incrementally important for you to try these things across the board. One thing that I like to do is saying like, hi, Ryan, looked at your profile and had a question, ... I'd like to put people into suspense as well. And that's another way of going about it. So y'all, we're right at time. We like to be efficient. If you enjoy the session, let us know in the chat if this was helpful and across the board. And I know we covered a lot. We covered a lot of different things on video selling, from prospecting to how to sell on the video to how to do proposals. Like, we covered a good bit. So if you found it helpful, definitely let us know and message us on LinkedIn if you have any further questions, and connect with us there. Ashley will be providing the link for you all moving forward so that you can go tap into that as well. So we appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a good one, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.